Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. This is Hugo Quintanilla here with another live. Thank you so much for tuning in live on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, please go ahead and leave them in the comments below or in the DMs. My phone number is 240-389-4846. My email is hugo@lnf.com, and my website is yourrealtorhugo.com. And ladies and gentlemen, we are here again for another portion of the daily 30-day home selling blueprint. And today is day 13. So I hope you've all had a great day. Pretty blustery, pretty cold, pretty windy, but a lot of exciting news come next week. I hope everyone's having a great Martin Luther King weekend. We are going to be celebrating that on Monday. So hope everyone has the day off. If you don't, then I hope you at least have the time to remember and commemorate the important day that is Martin Luther King and what it all stands for. And yeah, let's hop into today's episode, guys. So not too much on the personal front to share with you guys. Pretty even keeled day, just a lot of showings, a lot of rentals, a lot of questions with rentals. But all in all, very, very happy to work with so many new people. Thank you to everyone that's been recommending others, like their friends and family, to me and actually letting me know, or have just sent them my information and they've reached out. I really do appreciate it. I just wanted to let everybody know I do have a WhatsApp now. So if you guys did want to contact me there, feel free. I know sometimes it's a little bit more comfortable, especially in the Spanish speaking market, to have WhatsApp. But yeah, I finally made the plunge and I ended up getting one. So, you know, you can catch me on WhatsApp too. But for today, guys, we're going to be talking about deciding on renovations and considering the potential return on investment. Yesterday, I told you that today was going to be kind of one of these things that we were going to kind of chit chat about my tips and tricks and kind of my suggestions on certain things that you could do. This is, of course, broad strokes and shouldn't be taken as advice or financial advice for anyone that, I haven't consulted with, because really these suggestions are great rules of thumb, but the beauty and the necessity of realtors is that you have to know when to apply these things and actually um, when to implement them is the most important thing. There's sometimes no need to do certain things when you don't necessarily have to. So knowing with a discerning eye how to evaluate the difference between a necessary repair and something that could maybe wait is really what a realtor is great at. And we have to acknowledge that a lot, that a realtor's experience in that world and also their knowledge of what sells and what doesn't sell is really what makes the difference in the transaction. But let's start. One, review realtor's recommendations. Revisit your discussions with the realtor and consider their recommendations regarding renovations. Ask them, if you can, to write everything out. Be very polite. These are not work mules. We are people. So please, treat us like people. We're just like anybody else. And ask us, for these reports, and ask us for these things so that you actually have this in writing and can sit down and look at these things and look at these recommendations and why they recommend certain things. That's more importantly than anything, will let you know how they feel and at what they know, because they will give you insight perhaps on things that you might not have too much insight on. A lot of things are very obvious. Okay, common sense. The paint is chipping, let's repaint. But there are more nuanced things that you really should get a realtor's 2 cents on. And even if they suggest perhaps getting an appraiser to come in and get their 2 cents, then so be it. Because really getting a home inspector or an appraiser, a third party that comes in and verifies what the realtor is saying, is peace of mind for you. Yeah, it might be a little bit of extra money, but at this stage of the transaction, you really should be thinking about peace of mind. And peace of mind will translate into a smoother transaction. Research renovation costs. Um, Research the estimated costs of each proposed renovation to understand the financial investment. Not all renovations are necessary, and not all um, renovations should be costly. So, doing your research, doing your due diligence on a lot of these things and taking your time with it can go a long way. I know we've kind of power walked through this whole getting your home ready to list in 30 days, but in reality, you should be taking a substantial amount of time on each one of these things to best dedicate your time to it. But remember, you're busy, you're working, you still have a life, you have kids, you have a family, you have things that you still need to do. So how are you expected to do all of that and still, you know, do this as well and get your home ready for sale? Da 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 da. Da. Enter your realtor. That's what we're dedicated to. Make sure your realtor is a full-time agent and work with them. That's what they are there for, to take those burdens off of you. And if your realtor can't, then, find yourself a realtor that can, a realtor that will and can work with you. Believe me. And I've said this many a times. There are tons of different realtors and realtors for all sorts of flavors. So look around, ask around, and see what they have to offer, because really, um, you are the client and you deserve to have a smooth transaction, as well as do business with people that you know, like, and trust. So assess potential return on investment, ROI. Evaluate the potential return on investment for each renovation, considering its impact on the home's value. That again, you can do with a report like the home builders report we've been talking about, the ROI report that comes out every year. You can talk to your realtor, but biggest areas that you want to focus on are kitchens and bathrooms. They are what sell a property. After that, more than anything else, your biggest returns of investment are going to be the things that bring the property up to a safety standard or a curb appeal standard. Mm, the things that will help update your home are of super importance, as well as things that will perhaps maybe take the home into the future. Um, Recessed lighting, updated electrical, things that the home might have not had initially. Those are all things they can have a huge ROI. Prioritize high impact areas. Prioritize renovations in areas that have an high impact on overall home appeal, such as kitchens or bathrooms, like I just said. Another key area I would highly suggest you take some time to look at is the stairs and the hallways. Stairs and hallways are avenues of travel, and they are by far the most run through places in your home. As a little known fact, it seems that about 80% of your time is spent in 20% of your home. So if you think about your home in that regard, where are you spending 80% of your time? And that's really about 20% of the home. And all the wear and tear is going to be in that section. So addressing those areas that you use the most in the home is essential. I don't know why it just reminded me. I don't know if any of you have ever seen that show, Extreme Cheapskates or something like that. There was a gentleman that saran wrapped his whole house and used one room and one bathroom. and one shower, and that was it. His whole mansion was saran wrapped so that he could preserve value for when he resells. I was like, wow, that is dedication. Like everything, all the walkways, all the halls, all everything was um saran wrapped so that his footsteps wouldn't transfer any dust. I remember it was so extreme that he did his laundry in the hot tub, if you can imagine that. So, ugh, just thinking about that, I can't. No, never mind. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get focused. consider consider energy efficiency. Explore energy efficient upgrades that not only enhance your home but may also appeal to environmentally conscious buyers. The number of environmentally conscious buyers nowadays is growing. They are more knowledgeable, they are more open to new technology, they are very affluent and have deep pockets. So they have the money for these expenses and these extra luxuries that ultimately benefit all of us. Energy efficiency is something that has become so commonplace and saves people hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'm sure, a year. And it is really in all major electrical appliances, even all water appliances as well. I can't think of too many things that are not. Well, I guess most consumer things are not energy efficient, like regular chargers and things like that, regular consumer products. But I think TVs, all major appliances for the most part are energy efficient. So having that in your arsenal of things to use in your renovation toolbox is key. Yes, they are more expensive. Yes, they do come with this added benefit, but it's again cost and reward. You do get a little bit more for what you pay for. Balance aesthetics and functional improvements. Strike a balance between aesthetic improvements and functional upgrades that improve the home's usability. This is really one of those things where I would consult with a designer. I would also consult with a realtor if you have no idea of what good aesthetic is. This is not the time to do a wild renovation and to paint, and the colors that you always wanted to paint. No, this is the time to really settle on a good aesthetic design that fits the home and execute upon it. Make the home look tip top and pleasing to the eye, clean, usable, friendly, welcoming. And then from there, you can make functional upgrades that improve the home's usability. For example, HVAC and all these other major utilities. Why do I say do the aesthetics? Because it's just like us as human beings. We see things first with our eyes and we fall in love with our eyes before we fall in love with our minds or our hearts. It's just one of those things that we like what we see and we usually go after it. So, aesthetically, making the home welcoming is very important. And the functionality sometimes falls to even a second or third question after people get over the look of the property. If the property doesn't look good but functions, okay. If the it really comes down to how bad the property visually looks. But if the property looks great but nothing works inside, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, this is almost like a unfinished project. I can finish it with the last little, appliances. The mindset changes. And that's what you want sometimes, is to control the mindset of the prospective buyer. Why was this not done? Or why is this being done? What is the question that you're going to answer in their heads? And we hope that your realtor can answer those questions and the marketing answers itself. Evaluate long term benefits. Assess renovations that provide long term benefits and have a lasting positive impact on the property. Long term benefits is really the name of the game. We want to look at the systems that are roofs, plumbing, electrical that are going to be lasting for an extended period of time, the HVAC, um, the water heater, things like that that are paramount to the use of the home. That's what you want to really focus on. Those are the long term improvements that you really want to make sure you get right. Do not skimp out on those. Consult with contractors. If needed, consult with contractors to get detailed estimates and insights into the feasibility of each renovation. They will tell you, okay, you can't put this type of water heater into this type of home, or you can't put this HVAC system into this, or you can't do this flooring for this. If you have a good contractor, but ask questions, always get references, get reviews, do your due diligence every step of the way, and make sure that you're asking the questions that you want answers to. Get second opinions because it never hurts to have a second opinion to best inform yourself before making an actual decision on something so important as doing a redesign. And really, I'm kind of stressing this point because it could be as easy as getting a color of a floor wrong. You get the color of the floor wrong, you've already turned off a whole segment of the population that doesn't like the floor. A lot of people say they'll make improvements and they'll fix the home when they get into it, or they'll update or do something. It is rare that someone right off the bat, after spending so much to get into the home, will then turn around and spend more money on improving something that's been done, like the flooring, just because of a color change. It's rare. So it has to be functionally to the end of its life for people to tend to make those changes, or unless it's really going to aesthetically update the property. I know a lot of you have seen properties that were outdated and then all of a sudden got this vinyl finish, and then now, wow, they look great. But it's vinyl, it's something that does need to be taken care of, like vinyl, like a piece of plastic. So very durable stuff, though. Great for rentals and leases. Number nine, factor in current market trends. Consider how each proposed renovations aligns with current market trends and buyer preferences. We spoke about this yesterday. If everyone is expecting an island in your neighborhood, an island's the way to go. If everyone has a pool's the way to go. But we want to do this with a discerning eye. We don't want to go out there and blow the bank trying to keep up with the Joneses when we don't need to. Really, we need to look at the key things, kitchens and bathrooms, and what are the key selling points that we're seeing repeatedly in these homes. And lastly, make informed decisions. Armed with information about costs, potential ROI, and market trends, make informed decisions about which renovations to proceed with. And this is the point where you execute. You decide and you go. It's not about learning and learning and learning and learning. Now it's about doing. And this has been day 13. So we didn't even get the realtor involved until like 10 days into this. And by day 13, we're already making changes and improvements to the house to really execute on this plan. We have about 2 weeks to get this house ready now. And then in these 2 weeks, we're going to prepare to then list the property for sale. And really there's not too much more, because after the you work around the contractors, this is going to be the longest period of time from here on out, setting out these dates, getting the work done, getting approvals. All this stuff is going to be done now, and that's what really the timeline is going to be. Don't ever forget that you have to get permits for work, so that could always delay your timelines. So talk to a realtor about timelines, because more than anything, that's what we can help you with. We can help you with a realistic idea of what the timeline for certain things can be. And if the realtor doesn't know, they can certainly find out. They have access to the people that would know. So keep that in mind. And deciding on renovations with a focus on potential return on investment will help you make choices that not only enhance your home but also contribute positively to its market value. So decide on the renovations that you are going to do and the ones that you aren't going to do. Remember, you don't necessarily have to do renovations to sell a home, but if you want the highest value for your home, it needs to look top of the line. It needs to be updated, and it needs to be clean, and it needs to be very welcoming and easily accessible to everyone. Meaning, design wise, it needs to be aesthetically pleasing, and it needs to be actually reachable. There are properties that are just not feasible for some people, and that already limits, who can move into that property. So, being, I guess, more conscious of your expectations is key, because we don't want you expecting, X, Y, and Z buyer when the property. Oh, for example, we're not expecting a whole full blown family buyer to come in for a one bedroom, one bath. We really, that's not ideal. Usually, a property like that is gonna maybe have a couple, maybe have a person, but stuff like that is all stuff that plays into real estate. There are people that don't need properties in certain configurations, and that's what really limits the availability of certain homes in certain markets, because they're just not any of the types of homes that people want to have in those areas. Sometimes people settle and they just get a house just to live in, and then they sell it whenever they can and move on with their lives. But if you are purposeful with your money, you should be purposeful with your purchases. And I think everyone with a little bit of due diligence can find a home that they not only like, enjoy, and feel a sense of pride in, because really that's what it's all about: being proud of your good decisions and enjoying your home ownership, which you're entitled to because of your good decisions. So I'm really excited for all of you to get started on this journey. And look, 2 weeks in, and you have already gotten to the point of listing your property and doing renovations. So you've talked to a realtor, you've done all the big stuff. And really, what else is there to say? Just to recap for today, for day 13, we reviewed realtors' recommendations, we researched renovation costs, we assess potential returns on investment. We prioritized high impact areas. We considered energy efficiency. We balanced aesthetics and functional improvements. We evaluated long term benefits. We consulted with contractors. We factored in current market trends and made informed decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, we are slowly but surely progressing in this guide. And what's on the horizon for day 14? We begin packing non essential items and organize a timeline for the move. This is sometimes the most difficult emotional part of the process, because there is so much sentimentalism that can be unlocked when moving. But doing bits by bits, doing chunks by chunks, slowly over time, starting to either get let go of pieces, sell, or give away pieces, you can start lessening your load. Or honestly, you could leave whatever you'd like in the property when you sell it and take what you need. But be very clear about what it is that you are leaving and what it is that you are taking. You don't want any misunderstandings at the end of the day. So, if you have any further questions, my email is probably the best way to get a hold of me: hugo@lnf.com. My website is yourrealtorhugo.com. My phone number is 240-389-4846. And I am Hugo Quintanilla, your local Maryland realtor, licensed with Maryland, with Long and Foster of North Potomac, Maryland. And yeah, it's another great live. I appreciate you all for tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And I will catch you all tomorrow for day 14. Thank you again for tuning in, and be safe out there. Stay warm. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, tomorrow we actually have two lives. Tomorrow we have the recap on the top news stories of the week, so don't miss that as well. I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Have a great weekend.